Hello and welcome, Inspired Podcast community. This is your new episode. My name is Caroline, and my today's guest is Thomas. And I'm so happy that you are here and you said yes to our interview. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited just to be here with you and your audience. So, yeah, just great. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I love your background. It is so colorful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's a tapestry from Nepal. Yes.
Oh,
hmm
great. I
hmm
feel the vibration. Okay, let me introduce you to the audience. You are a healer and entrepreneur who blends 15 years of wildland fire service with expertise in alternative healing. As the founder of Mountain Mind Tricks, you offer transformative sessions using NLP, hypnosis, and Hawaiian healing arts to help clients heal and thrive. Welcome to the Inspired Podcast. Thomas, you say worm, right? You pronounce
Yes. Yes. Thomas Wurm. Yes. Thank you.
so great. I love your name. You told me it has a German background, maybe. Yes. And yeah, and let's have our conversation today. I'm so excited to present you to the audience, and I have questions, of course. How did your experience in wildland fire service influence your journey into alternative healing and the creation of mountain mind tricks?
Mm, Beautiful question. Thank you so much. Yeah, wildland firefighting, we'll start with what that is because it is different. It's not in the city. So we're in the mountains, we have helicopters, we've got chainsaws, we're deep in the wilderness, right? There's a lot of stress. There's a lot of, uh, they say like one shift, like, because we work about 16 hours straight, and one shift is equivalent to riding a Tour de France. So it's basically Olympic level athlete in the mountains with the stress, with you're basically at war with nature. It's kind of this wild thing. And so about 2015, my best friend, my captain, my supervisor passed away suddenly. And this really brought on a lot of grief, and it brought awareness, as grief does. Grief brings everything up to the surface, right? And I began to really manifest a lot of PTSD, post traumatic stress, and I was going through a lot in my life, and I had to go through my own healing journey. And I really started with acupuncture, meditation, qigong, these alternative modalities because I was also struggling with waking up to my spiritual gifts. So it's kind of a double thing, a kundalini experience with PTSD. I was total mess. So alternative healing absolutely saved my life, and that's how I got into it. It's been a powerful journey for me.
Wow, thank you for sharing. You mentioned, yeah, your healing journey. And was it like an awakening? Could one say this?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I really started manifesting it, there's trauma in my body. Like the body
Mm.
was going through so much. I had all these mystery illness symptoms, things going on. And I didn't really know what to do except for meditate. I was the tough guy. I was the firefighter. I didn't know what emotions were at this point, right? So I did understand meditation to an extent, and I was very deep in meditation, doing some deeper qigong meditations that I had read about, and I asked the universe to open my third eye out loud, and fortunately and unfortunately, the universe responded, and I had an absolute out of body experience, mystical experience. I really had, anything you've read with Raymond Moody or near death experiences, it was an out of body total awakening. And it kind of blew up my life. It really blew up my life. And my symptoms got worse. Everything got way worse, but I was waking up. Yeah. Mhm.
Why would you say, can you explain it? Why it went worse first? Or
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, the awakening was so powerful. I really got to experience the whole universe in that moment, and we can go deeper into that if we have time. But when I came back to my body, I was seeing energy. And so, like the Matrix, right? When we see the movie, when there's like the lines of calligraphy kind of everywhere, like when Neo's waking up, there's all the lines of calligraphy in the Matrix. I was seeing that, but it was sacred geometry, like with my physical eyes. Um, my head, I had huge headaches. My pupils were dilated for weeks and weeks. Like there was some serious stuff going on in the body. Like, so my body was just I literally felt like I was dying. Like, I remember when I went to acupuncture the first time, I walked in and I told the acupuncturist, like, "I don't know what's happening to me, I just feel like I'm literally gonna die." So, uh, yeah, it really there was a full, like, ego death, I guess, is the best way to explain it. Yeah.
Yes, I understand because when you first words cannot describe or when
Yeah.
but my body is saying now I understand because what my question was about was when you said about this experience and your
Mhm.
healing journey, what I thought it is about is it is one moment or a night or a day and then it clicks and everything gets better or the all the problems
Mm.
are gone, and this is why I asked why is it getting worse first and how long was this journey.
Yeah, I really mentored with this acupuncturist. I went to acupuncture probably once a week during this time period of my life. I was still firefighting. I mean, I could barely work, but I was still out there. And I spent about 6 months with him really routinely. And then he introduced me to NLP, and I went to my first training, and that was life changing. And day two of that training, I signed up for the advanced training, which is like master practitioner, like how to work with other people. And in that training, I got to experience mental emotional release. And it's a specific technique. Some people might hear it like timeline therapy. It's a hypnosis technique. And I remember when I released fear in that class and that experience, I everything shifted. That was the moment where everything changed in a split second, was that mental emotional release where I got to release the root cause of the fear. And I mean, it was generational, ancestral, like deep rooted fear. And the thing that really convinced me is like all of a sudden is like I could breathe for the first time in years. Like my body shifted even. It was very powerful for me.
So you felt it, and what you said was in the before it was that you still worked. So that would have been one of my questions. Were you able to work in that period? When
Yes, and I also, I was really being driven to like during this awakening period is like you're gonna help people, you're gonna help people. I'm like, I don't know how to do that. Like I'm just a guy with an axe and a chainsaw, right? I have no idea. And I think the thing that really I knew something had to change because at the time I was on a helicopter crew, so we would fly in helicopters a lot. And every time I got in the helicopter, I would just pray that it would crash. And like that's how dark my life was. That's how suicidal I was, right? And so that's when I knew like I can't be doing this to my crew. I can't be doing this to other people. And so yes, I was working, but it was a deep transformation of the shadow at this point of really understanding there was a part of me that was dying. That's really what was happening. There was an aspect of me that was transforming.
I
Yeah.
understand, and what I mean is what I mean by this is that so you had those thoughts,
Mhm.
but it was not your mission. Your mission is what you are doing now and
Mhm.
helping others, but you were not able to see it yet?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So it was a deep, profound, very hard journey I've been through. I've been through a lot of trauma in my life, among a lot of other things. So uh, that's why when I started Mountain Mind Tricks, is I really do specialize in trauma and PTSD because it's been my journey and understanding the spiritual aspects, the energetics of it, and the mental emotional aspects of it, and all the way down to the physical, understanding that the trauma trickles down all the way into the physical body, and how do we deal with that too?
That's interesting. Okay, let's have a look if I have an inspiring
Mhm.
next question for you.
Mhm.
Can you share a breakthrough moment with a client that highlights the power of your unique approach to healing?
Yeah, absolutely. So I had a client, let's see. Yeah, specifically last year, she came to me with severe depression, and she had been on the SSRI medications for, I mean, since she was like 10 years old. I mean, over 25 years probably of, these pretty hardcore medications. And so she came to me and we did a what we call a breakthrough session. So it's 8 hours of work. Okay. We break it up into like a weekend. Okay, so it's a pretty deep, in-depth dive into the root cause, the greater problem. And when we did the release work, when we came to sadness, it really came back to, her father had passed away suddenly. And this was there was just so much grief she hadn't dealt with. It was really manifesting in the body. And it was all, it happened when she was a child. And so it was like, it felt like it was her fault, you know, felt like she killed her father in some way, as children kind of make things like this. So when we released that belief, everything shifted. And she, worked with her medical doctor. She got off the SSRI medications. We did some supplements to kind of work with the brain. And we did some coaching. And I would say within 3 months, she was completely free of depression. She doesn't have depression anymore. Totally gone. Medications totally gone. And what's amazing is that she lived in a really small mountain town, and housing was becoming a really big problem for her. And so we did a process together to find housing for her, because it was actually going to come to like a very serious situation for her. And so after we did the prayer process, she entered a lottery for what's it called, like affordable housing in these small towns in the United States. So basically, it's like half price. It's kind of a community. It's a special low income house that's beautiful. So there was 3 houses up for a lottery, and so she applied, she got in, and she went actually to the event where they're gonna announce it, and she won. So she won her dream house. It's her absolute dream house, and she won the lottery, and that's like, we put that intention out there, and then she started taking action on it. So free of depression, has her dream house. She's just doing amazing now. It's absolutely incredible.
Oh, this is really a breakthrough after 25 years on medication. And then it even got better with the
Yeah,
lottery, you said. So it is
yeah,
not only like I am free from, but I added a house onto
yeah,
my portfolio
yeah,
or whatever.
yeah,
So nice.
yeah.
So you helped her manifesting it
Mhm,
by a
absolutely.
technique. You were by her side and told her what to do or
Yeah, yeah, we did a prayer process. It's a specific process, that I've learned from the Hawaiian tradition I'm part of. And it's really about just using pictures and NLP in your mind, but really putting energy into an intention and sending it out, and understanding, the laws of the universe. This isn't like The Secret. Like, I'm just going to affirm, right? I'm just going to affirm I want the house. I want the house. No, this is completely different. And I think this transformation is so powerful because it really shows, to have a true breakthrough, we have to do the release work. We have to release. And then we have to create a vision of what we want. And then it's about action and focus. And that's the secret right there. Mhm.
would you say removing blockages first or releasing energy that has been blocked in the body?
Yes, absolutely. And that's something, from the work that I do, I look at it from a spiritual, mental, emotional, physical blocks, and we want to remove all of it. And anything that's in the way of getting what you want, let's let that go, and then reprogram the mind, reprogram the emotions and the thought patterns, and really, you know, use some energy and spiritual processes to create what you want in life.
I love that. That
Mhm.
encourages me, whatever, to dream big, let's say.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's possible. Let's do this. Okay, I have another question for you. I have
Mhm.
to take a look. What do you see as the future of alternative healing, and how are you preparing mountain mind tricks to meet those evolving needs?
Mm. Yeah, I think what's so amazing is that the future, I think physics will have finally a breakthrough because from a physics perspective, there's no longer, it's coming to a head where they have to put the ether back into the equations. So I want to go back. Albert Einstein originally had the ether or spirit or consciousness in his equations, but he was too scared to actually incorporate it. He knew that there was an ether. And so now that that stuff is coming back to fruition, back into the equations in certain communities, like it is, a lot of these quantum physicists are really adding in this in. So now it's, the future really is quantum healing and understanding that we can measure the energy field. We can use major, medical scientific equipment to show the energy. And so something, in my future personally is working with sound and acupuncture and understanding the specific frequencies and tuning the body, tuning the organs, tuning the energy field to perfect health. Like that really is the future. So it's a merging of east and west through physics. Mhm.
Absolutely, I have to say I understand because I do, but and now comes now comes
Yeah.
the but. I never heard this before. It makes totally sense to me. Tuning the body, it's like a tuning fork, you said.
Mhm.
And when we talk about frequencies, everyone's talking about frequencies and quantum
Mhm.
physics, and they don't really get it, and I don't get it.
Yeah.
I think you only get it when you say you don't get it,
That's right.
because
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah, you know what I mean. Tuning the body, I never heard this, or I never, yeah, mixed the words in that way. But it makes
Yeah.
total sense to me.
Yeah, yeah, and if we can think of, the body as a flute, right? And there's the little
Yeah.
holes you put your fingers on. Well,
Mm.
in acupuncture, there's 360 points. So these are the actual flute. This is the flute. And so energy, source, love, whatever we want to call it's flowing through the body. And maybe there's specific points or notes that aren't playing. They're not in sync. They're not in sync. And so specifically acupuncture, there's a lot of other modalities that can do this too, but it's really about, tuning the body to be in that perfect orchestra, right?
Yes, absolutely. And when I think of the quote, "The body is an instrument of the mind,"
Hmm.
it gives a totally different meaning to me now. I learned something in our
Yeah.
podcast interview. I'm so happy. I hope all of the listeners too. And now comes the question when people reach out to you after listening to this episode because they want to work with you and
Mhm.
tuning their body. How can they find you? Do you have special offers and services? Let us
Mhm.
know.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find me at mountainmindtricks.com and Mountain Mind Tricks on Instagram. I have my own podcast, Mountain Mind Tricks Podcast, and I teach Qigong weekly online. That's probably the best way to just kind of get introduced to me. I also do energy sessions, like 2 or 3 hour energy clearings, and deep reprogramming with mental emotional release. And then I do offer breakthrough sessions, which are, they're an intensive 8-hour process plus some integration work, online course. It's more of like a 3-month program for something like that. Mhm.
Wow, I love that. Please reach out to Thomas. He's amazing.
Mm,
He I normally I say he has information that not many people have, but it's not only information. So maybe you set the body information. I don't know, by tuning it, maybe I can say it
mhm.
that way. It's
Yeah.
been an amazing podcast episode. I learned so much. And now it's time for your last thoughts to the audience, please.
Yeah, absolutely. For everybody listening, I just invite you to just connect with your higher self and whatever that means to you, because your higher self can absolutely heal anything in your life. And all you have to do is ask the right question. And if you're just starting out, just ask empowering questions. Ask empowering, like, how can I be healthier today? How can I heal today? What's my next step in life? Just ask empowering questions and the universe will respond to you.
Thank you so much. It's about co-creating the answer, right?
That's right.
It's like we did this podcast episode. Thank you. It was amazing.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And see you in the next episode.